G'day guys and welcome to another episode of the Bounce Accounts. I'm Cardsy. This is basically going to be a Liverpool reaction, and then I'll be doing an EPL sort of review and then preview of the final week coming up. I'm not normally someone to be gobsmacked, but today I am. You obviously, all who are watching this will know what happened last night or early morning here in Australia for a 4:30am that we had to get up for it. Liverpool, before the 78th minute against Crystal Palace, looked like they were strolling towards a massive 3 points. And just out of nowhere, the great collapse happened. I'll just today be talking through some points that I had from the game, then going through some player ratings. I was nearly going to do it before the 78th minute player ratings, then after the 78th minute player ratings, because it looked like two different Liverpool teams that I put down my points. I've never seen a top team, and obviously Liverpool are a top team, collapse like that. Please in the comment sections or tweet us. I can't remember a team, Liverpool, Man United, Man City, even Everton, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, in the last 10 minutes throwing away a 3-goal lead. If you can remember it and you have, please tell me, because I reckon it hasn't happened for a very long time, and I'll probably be wrong, but I don't think it has happened for a very long time, and I just can't think of a team that's done that. And that collapse, a lot of the time, teams throw away 2-goal leads at the end. You might be 3-1 up and come back to 3-3. I can't remember a team conceding a 3-goal lead like that, and I think it's outstanding that Crystal Palace played exceptional. I have to say, after that 78th minute, obviously it took them a deflection to get back into the game, but Dwight Gayle changed it. The Coutinho sub for Sterling, I can see it. I would have made the same sub, but you couldn't predict how poorly Coutinho was going to be. He was atrocious. I haven't seen a worse performance probably from a Liverpool player all season. He lost the ball nearly every time he got it. He overhit crosses. And to be honest with you, that's why a lot of Liverpool fans are saying, why isn't this man in the Brazilian squad? Well, that 15 minutes is exactly why he's not in the Brazilian squad for the World Cup coming up. Because as the amount of players Brazil have, you can't expect him to get into the team, because he wouldn't be starting in the Brazilian squad. He would be a guy coming off the bench as an impact, and if that's going to be his impact, he cost us the game today. I'm not saying directly, but some of his mistakes he made while he was on for the 15 minutes really cost us, and Sterling probably wouldn't have done that stuff. Sterling is, from, like I said the last show, 6 months ago, Raheem has come so far that I think we have, and I think even other people from opposition teams think we have the best young player in the world nearly coming through at 19. If you think there's another better 19-year-old on the planet right now, please tell me, because this kid is going to be exceptional, and if he continues on his development, he looks like now he's got a cool head. This time last year, he was lost. 18 months ago, he was lost as a player, but he's come out of nowhere now, and I can't think of anyone else. Now, going through my first point, 78th minute before, Liverpool played actually really quite well. It was a game that you have to say that we were grinding out a result. We scored a good goal from Joe Allen, popped up. He's been exceptional in the second half of the season. Like I said last time, after the Everton game, he's really come on leaps and bounds, and he's going to be a very important player next season. But we played well. We grinded out. We were grinding out a result. The Suarez goal was excellent. Sterling's pass there showed years above what he actually is. Sturridge's goal was obviously very fortunate. I think it might have actually been going into the post anyway. I don't know if Speroni would have saved it, but you never know. We looked like we were grinding it out. And then the next point I have to say is taking of chances. Now, Liverpool have scored 99 goals this season, so we've obviously had to take a lot of chances. I remember 2 years ago when we had the season of the woodwork, where we hit it nearly every freaking game. I think that was under Kenny. And we couldn't finish. We're hitting the woodwork, and like everyone's, I think we hit it 25 times, saying this year we've been able to finish. But if we look probably back at how many chances we've had, last night we should have been up 6 or 7-0 before the great collapse. To be honest with you, I got down here Sterling's chance. When I think it's Sturridge comes in and he cuts inside, I was expecting him to actually push it onto his right foot and just bang it in. Like, to be honest with you, why are you at the 9 yards out and you're not shooting and you're passing it back to the edge of the 18-yard box? He's got a powerful right foot still, and you're confident. You just scored a goal 20 minutes ago, and you decide to knock it back there. And Sterling, okay, I've just heaped praise on him, but he needs to be taking that first time. He takes a touch, gives the defenders time to come across and cover, and that also gives Speroni time to get back onto his line. Obviously, it's blocked and gone away, but I think no matter what, after that, he's going to have to make an exceptional finish to score there. Sturridge had ample opportunities, and so did Sturridge, talking about even the pass there. Gerrard even probably had a couple. Allen did. They just needed to take our chances again. We could have been up by so many, and the game would have been out of reach. And I know the commentary here we got in Australia, I don't know what commentary you get over there, you probably get the same as the Sky one. They were talking about at the 77th minute, we should be going on now for 5 or 6 goals. And that's where it all changes, but we should have been so far in front that I should be talking about right now that it was an 8-0 win, and wow, if we beat Newcastle by 4 and City only win their last 2 games 1-0, we've got the title. But obviously, that's the thing for an alternate universe. Next we go on to Tony Pulis as manager of the season. I have to give this guy credit. I hated his Stoke team, and I think all of us did. Ellis hated his Stoke team, Reece hated his Stoke team. Most of you did hate his Stoke team. You knew what you were going to get with Stoke. It was going to get long ball, unattractive football, but they grounded out results, and he is probably the coup of the season. Signing of the season. I remember I said at the start of the season, Stephen Colquitt was going to be my signing of the season. For Cardiff, obviously that hasn't gone too well, but I still think he's had an alright season, and he's going to obviously be snapped up by another team because you don't get many good young English centre-backs, especially I think he's only still 21 or 22. He'll have a very good career still coming through. But Tony Pulis has been an outstanding signing. The signings he's made also, and rejuvenating players like Jedinak into one of the best centre midfielders in the Premier League. And I know like some people say he doesn't get the ball, doesn't do much, but his leadership is something even a team like Liverpool's like. We've had Gerrard, and I'm not trying to slate all the players because 2 weeks ago we were heaping praise on him, and I'm still half glass full that there's still a chance until it's mathematically impossible. And obviously we now head into the final day of the season that we can still win the title. But Jedinak somehow out of nowhere is becoming one of the best centre midfielders in the league, and if Palace even did get relegated, he would have to stay up, and he's been an exceptional captain, one of the outstanding players of the season. But Tony Pulis, I think he's had 8 wins since taking over. I think he's had 28 points now from half a season or something ridiculous. Been exceptional. No, actually it might have been 38 points, sorry. Something ridiculous because they didn't win. They won 1 game in the first 10 and he's turned it around like a handicap season. I think the commentators said he's just been exceptional. My next point is, for us Liverpool fans, I know that we're so close now and we have let it slip, and I don't think it's a choke, to be honest with you, because one thing I was saying to old Mandy Cuts was because of the EPL season, the way it's worked, you play everyone. We had Chelsea after the Man City game. Man City have been catching up, obviously, and it's hard to play catch-up games, but with their massive squad and no other cup tournaments, it's actually been alright for them, and I think they'll stroll now through to it. But we had to play Chelsea still, and that's a very tough game. They're 3rd in the league. They're going to finish 3rd. They might even finish 2nd if Liverpool stuff up, or even City somehow. But we still had to play Chelsea, and it was a very tough game. And I don't think it's a choke because even that Chelsea are an exceptional side, even though they lost to drew to Norwich, and I just go, why couldn't we get the draw against Chelsea and then they smash Norwich? I don't care about Norwich, but obviously we've got to hope as Liverpool fans that that's what Aston Villa and West Ham do to Man City, but that they have to still play the catch-up games with Man City, and even though we had points on the board, they had an easier run in to the end of the season. We had some tough games. It's not like people can say Liverpool players are choking and everything, but where are you Arsenal fans? I know I'm going to read out some comments that I got from some of the Liverpool chat boards and stuff on Facebook, and some other A-League memes and stuff. I don't know if you guys watch that, but you guys are freaking twats. Having a go, like, I know someone even commented on, where's your 31 goals to the EPL season as you guys sit behind keyboard warriors? Like, come on, like, don't have a go at Suarez now. I think a lot of people actually left that page today. I don't know, Suarez. Okay, no, my next point was actually Suarez crying. Like, I couldn't even, like, I was more crying after the Man City game. Today was just a sense of shock. I could see where Suarez is coming from, and obviously it's very emotional for him because he's tried so hard, and it's hard to blame it on any one player and what's happened, because they've come so close now when they weren't expected to it. Like, I think Atletico Madrid and Spain are going to go through the same problem in their final 2 games. They're 3 points up. They haven't done it for a very long time. They're nervous. They don't know how to finish off a season. Man City now know they've got leaders who have been there. They've gone through the emotion of the 2011-12 season where it looked like it slipped from their hands, and they had leaders come through. And even last night, when we had our chances right then, we went hoofball. And if you have a chance, watch the Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville sort of talk about the Liverpool-Chelsea game, because at the end they go through what the differences were between the two sides, between the Liverpool that game and Man City in the game against QPR and that final day of the season. Man City still played football when they were 2-1 down. Liverpool against Chelsea, and I even think last night in that last 5 minutes after it was 3-3, we went hoofball. We didn't play football. We've scored 99 goals this season from playing football, not by hoofing the ball forward. And that's why Man City, if you watch it, they talk through how the players continue the philosophy that they were trying to do. And last night, some guys decided, let's just get it forward. Obviously, we nearly scored with that Moses Moses air swing, and Moses should score there. That has been his season. He needs to score there. That's a moment to write your name in Liverpool folklore and probably win himself a contract with a big team, because he won't be playing at Chelsea next year. He will be sold to a lower league team, probably a Crystal Palace. Liverpool won't get him unless Rodgers is happy with the squad depth that he brings, but I wouldn't pay over $5 million for him, even though he's an English player. He's not a talent anymore. He's a poor man's Adam Johnson even. I would have to say he will find himself at another lower league team. And he could be a star there because he needs game time again. But he needed to score that goal. It's a massive air swing. He misses the ball. That's the time you write yourself into the folklore of a club. Even if he doesn't get a contract again, he comes out of that as a hero. 4-3, I'm standing here going, yeah, well, but he misses that chance. The Suarez crying, I've got off track. Suarez, we're still in it. There's a mathematical chance we're still in it. Obviously, you need to pick yourself up because we're still going to the last day of the season against Newcastle at Anfield. It's going to be roaring, and I hope it is. Because the players should, even after the game, if we end up losing by 2 points, they should walk around and every single person who is at that ground should stay and clap these guys off, because it's been a remarkable season. And even fans from other teams have to say, you haven't expected Liverpool to be here. And I know most people at the start of the season had Liverpool 5th, even 6th again, saying there's no way they're doing it, the squad depth is crap, where are they going to get goals from again, they can't really score. Well, again, these players have had an exceptional season, and we've been on a roller coaster ride. And I'm probably one of the only people that wasn't getting overly excited when we beat Man City. I was excited because the title race was in our own hands, and I'd rather it be in our own hands. And we have stuffed up, but we've had to play hard games, and it will come now down to Newcastle, but it's all in Man City's hands now. Now my last point before I go into the player ratings is defensively, Liverpool Football Club. As I said on last week's show, attack wins matches, defence wins titles. And today, it effed up. You can't win a title right now, and some people were saying offensively, but we've conceded 49 goals in 37 matches. That reminds me of me in a Football Manager season where I play 3 at the back every game and I score heaps of goals, but I still end up finishing 7th or something. You can't concede 49 goals and expect to win a title. To be honest with you, if you concede 49 goals, you shouldn't even be in the top 4. It's been amazing how Sturridge and Suarez have carried us in other games, and the fact that we've still got 50 goals out of other people nearly. What is an exception to Brendan Rodgers. His attacking philosophy and mindset into the players he has put in has been outstanding, and I cannot be more happy with Brendan Rodgers, because I believe in that man and I will go with him for wherever Liverpool want to go, because I think he will be he will define this football club for the next 20 years. I think we've got someone here now, and I think the manager merry-go-round in world sport, even when you head into basketball and stuff, you need to give a manager a chance. And that's why I didn't get to talk about the David Moyes, I don't think. Instead, I'm angry that they actually did sack him, not because David Moyes is a football genius, but you can't get someone and give him a 6-year contract and then sack him after 10 months because it's not working. I know it's a financial decision in the end, and the board had to make it, but you've given this man a 6-year contract. Brendan Rodgers is going to be at Liverpool Football Club for a very long time, and we are a couple of years ahead of schedule. But we need to figure out this defensive woes. As an England supporter, as my second team, and obviously as English supporters that might be watching this video, I think you have to be very scared that Glenn Johnson is your best right back. Attacking, he is good going forward, but he still makes errors. There was a lot of times with of taking of chances that I said earlier in the show. He doesn't do the right thing. And for me, that is a massive problem for Liverpool. We need to find another right back. We need a solid right back. His attacking work is great, but if you look at the best teams, Dani Alves, obviously it's freaking hard to get Dani Alves. Like, there's only one Dani Alves. He's still a good defender. Yet going forward, Glenn Johnson needs to work on his defensive things. He does enough going forward that he can assist 5 or so goals a season. Might chip in with 1 or 2 goals. He's good enough, but he needs to go back and work on his defensive side of his game, because he got torn apart last night. And again, in my player ratings, I've given him a 5, because I think he's up there with the reason why we haven't won the title, because Pablo Zabaleta has turned into being a great offensive right back to being able to defend. I'm outstanding with how Zabaleta has changed his game over the last couple of seasons to be one of the best right backs in the world. And Johnson, now at 28, 29, he's at the end of his career where he's going to be a good backup. And I think Liverpool fans obviously have been hoping for a while now that Martin Kelly would come into that position, but he's not. He's a centre back. He's not a right back. That's why he's injured. Andre Wisdom has deputised in there for a couple of bits. We need to go out, and I think Rodgers even said before the game that he's looking at minimum of 6 signings that we'll need. One of them has to be a right back, and someone who is experienced, someone who is obviously from other leagues that can come in and shore up the defence. We need to freshen it up. Glenn Johnson has been there since the Rafa days, and obviously Glenn is a great player, and he's been at the club for a very long time now, and he's sort of a hero of some of the fans, but he needs to go now or be a backup. Same going into the centre-back positions. Now, talk about Captain Madface Skirtle and talk about more what goes on with his player ratings, but him and Sacco are a walking wrecking ball. Both senses of attacking and defensively. I would be so scared seeing those 2 guys come at me at a corner or a free kick, because I know Skirtle has scored the most goals from a defender in the league this season, up there with Seamus Coleman. But defensively, he just makes brain fades that I was like, okay, I'm sitting there in bed watching on my iPad, and at 3-2 I just go, something's going to go wrong here. And we've talked all season about Agger being poor aerially, but why does Skirtle rush out? Why? He leaves his man, and there's nothing. The guy chested, I think that is the pass of the game. He has got that ball and he's chested it so perfectly, and I might even headed it just down to Dwight Gayle, and there's an exceptional finish from Dwight Gayle. I think if teams higher up should be looking at this guy coming off the bench for a Tottenham or something, instead of paying ludicrous amounts of money for a winger that you don't know you can play in the English game. This kid is going to be good. But that it is an exceptional pass, or a chest header, or whatever it is. But Skirtle, what is he doing coming out? Because he's made his decision to come out. It's like when Mignolet F's up and he comes out for corners and like free kicks and stuff, but he's a second late. This was a second. If he stays in his position, it's going to have to get past him, and it's going to be very hard. But I'm doing a little thing here, trying to think of like how the ball's going to go past him. But I don't see it happening. He stands in his position. That costs us the game there. So that's basically all my rundown from the game. Now I'm going into my player ratings. Like I said, I was going to do it before the 77th minute player ratings, and then after, because everyone after would have got like a 3, but then that's no point. If you want to have a go at my player ratings, please do, because this is just my opinion. And please put your player ratings in the comment section below. I want to hear what you guys think of the players. I'll be going through about all the other EPL games later in another episode that will come out. So please tell us your opinions, because if you're watching the show, I want to hear from you. So first, Mignolet 6.5. I can't think of anything he can do for the goals, the deflection. It's out of his reach. The shot, I think, is nearly going straight into his hands, where he might have to just parry it wide. But football is about luck, and there is no way any keeper in the world is getting that. Going on to my next player, Glenn Johnson with a 5. Johnson has to come and defend that. He turns his body around and he invites the shot first by not closing down the opposition. And second, because he's turned his body, it gives the option of a deflection. There's a couple of times earlier this season when Skirtle had a couple of times like that, where he turns his back. Obviously it's human nature to get away from it because not that you're scared, but you're trying to block, you're trying to save your body too. But he stands tall, and if he comes out to it and blocks the guy, he's probably getting hit in the stomach, might get hit in the legs, balls or whatever. But he's stopped the ball and it goes in that direction. It goes forward of him then. You can't score a deflection like that. He's obviously, but by turning his back, it bounces off it. It's going to happen a couple of times. Johnson was poor. Already said 5 minutes ago, we need someone else. Sacco, Skirtle, I give them both of them 6.5s. Someone said on one of the Liverpool pages on Facebook, we missed Agger. Agger is a great ball-playing centre-back, and I can see why Barcelona are interested in him. And if we could get 15 mil from Barcelona, I would take it and run. I think we should be looking at getting a bit of money from Agger now. He's at 28. We missed a leader in the defence today, what I think Skirtle should have been. But for me, again, the back four is you've got experience in Johnson and Skirtle next to each other, and inexperience in Sacco and Flanagan next to each other. Obviously, it's worked for whatever 5 or 6 or 7 games now. Flannel at left back, but he's had Agger a lot of time next to him. Obviously, before that injury and stuff that happened, that might be another reason why the season's changed. But sort of the experience and inexperienced pairings next to each other might have not worked. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure on what's going on there. Flannel is obviously, I gave him a 7. I thought he played well again. He puts his heart on his sleeve every week. And I said that, and in my England squad for the World Cup, that video will be coming out later in the week. Flano has to go. He's a young player. He puts his heart on his sleeve. He's not the most technically gifted footballer, but you don't need to be. Right backs, he reminds me of like a Gary Neville sort of right back. And you go, look at him, he doesn't look like a footballer. He's like, to be honest with you, Flano's going to probably have like one of the hottest girlfriends in the world, but he's only got it because he's a footballer. But in the end, sorry Flano, I love you. But he doesn't look like a footballer. He doesn't look like he'd be a guy you have on like the front of a EA Sports game, or you have on like front of a magazine and stuff that you go, he's a footballer. But he just puts in a shift every week. And he's going to get a career out of that, because hopefully at Liverpool for a very long time, because every time he comes out, he hasn't experienced a Liverpool title, yet he was born 2 streets away, or he lived 2 streets away from Anfield. Liverpool is in his blood. And hopefully he stays around. He obviously will get a new contract and will be back next season. But we need a better left back. Jose Enrique, who? I talked about Sissoko last week. It's time to go and get a world-class left back. Whether that's we go and get Fabio Contrao, he's obviously not wanted at Madrid, with the fact that apparently Ashley Cole is wanted there now, because Ancelotti there? I think he is, yeah. Ancelotti is there. He rates Cole, and I think that's a good move by having him and Marcelo there. I would go and get Contrao. He starts at left back, he'd be good. Well, obviously, apparently he was close to Man United. He won't go to Man United now. They don't have Champions League. He wouldn't leave Madrid unless he's going to a Champions League team. We have Champions League now. We can get him. Or put in money for him. I think this window coming up, it's not do a Tottenham and splash so much cash that it hurts the squad with the morale and everything. But we need to attack certain areas. And I wouldn't really be looking to really reinforce the attacking side of things. I'd be looking for maybe 1 or 2 more impact players off the bench. Not players who are young again, like Alberto and stuff, who don't have really much of an impact and are still learning as players. Players who are maybe 23, 24, who have experienced things before. Not an Adam Johnson type of player, because obviously he's missed his chance at City and he wouldn't want to sit on the bench again at this point of his career, because he's still trying to make England squad and everything. But players, it's a classic FIFA thing to buy players who are like 77, 78, that you're happy to have, don't cost you a lot of money, but can do a job for you. And I think we need those sort of players. Under Rafa, we had those guys. We had Yossi Benayoun, we had Albert Riera, even had Babel, whereas on their day, they're world beaters, but not every game they are. So I think we need to find those squad players that we can actually bring on. Moses is not one of those players. He doesn't frighten me anymore. I remember watching him for Crystal Palace when he was younger and going, wow, this kid's going to be good. He had size, he had strength, he had speed, but he hasn't really gone forward because, again, I think in your development as a young player, it's like when good young players go to Real Madrid. I know I'm getting off topic here, but they go to Real Madrid for the fact that, oh, Real Madrid want me. But you never get to play because you've got world-class players there. They're looking at you as a stop filler, someone who can come in the less important games and play. A lot of those Madrid players, you see, their bench rotate nearly every season because players go, well, I can't sit another season on the bench, I need to be playing. Again, Moses shouldn't have gone to Chelsea because I know he goes to Chelsea for the big name, it's Chelsea, I've been given a chance. Chelsea only signed him because they wanted an English player to fit the 80 English player role. That's the only reason they really signed him. They are hoping that he might become into a world beater, but they were hoping for him to play a couple of League Cup games, yada, yada, yada. That's why he is now even out on loan at Liverpool. Because if he was good enough, he would still be at Chelsea, but they've got amazing attackers. Whereas they bring in Schürrle, they get rid of Moses. I think we all know who wins that situation. Next, I go with Joe Allen at 7.5. It's a great header. He pulls around the defence in the corner. Good on you, Joe. He needed to score for once for Liverpool. It's 50 games now and he scored. I'm happy for him. He's going to be an outstanding player, I think. He does everything that Brendan Rodgers needs. He ticks the ball over. He gets passes. He barely loses the ball. I thought he was exceptional last night. Even when we went down, there's a couple of times where maybe he could close the player more, could follow the run more. But I think Joe is going to be a very important player for us next season. We have to go and find another centre midfielder who's a class above him even, but he's going to be important for Premier League games when we have a Champions League game the week before or week after, etc. Lucas 6.5, he was better than the week before against Chelsea, but still we miss Hendo. More on that later again. Gerrard 7.5, quarterback role, played well. Can't really go through more with Stevie G. His face was not like when he slipped over. It was like the end of like an action movie where the hero has sacrificed himself and he just knows it's gone now, but he's done all he can for everyone else to let everyone else have a better career. I think now he's not going to get that elusive Premier League title. I think hopefully next year we have a chance and we should be pushing on now, and hopefully it's the old you lose one, you win one, and this will probably bring these players back with more fight in the belly and everything. But this was our chance, and obviously we have let it slip, but hopefully Stevie G comes through, and hopefully he continues playing for maybe 4 or 5 more years as a guy that is just a defensive midfield, like the Pirlo sort of role that just comes through. He'll be a leader with the team. I don't think he'll retire at 35. The only reason would be injuries, touch wood. But yeah, Stevie G, legend. He was just shattered today, and I think that's most Liverpool fans. It was more shock because sometimes in football, because it's a weird game, and this is nearly like all sport, no matter how hard you try, you can't get to certain situations. You can't stop things. And once that deflected goal, I texted a friend and went, something's going to happen here. It wasn't our luck because that deflection goes wide, goes into Mignolet's hands. But there's a reason why that deflection went in, and that's why. Sterling, I give an 8. Liverpool's best player. Probably people won't say he was Liverpool's best player, but again, the sub turns the game by bringing him off. And I think most people in the world would have took Sterling off and brought on Coutinho, but the kid just gets the ball and runs every time now. And I think if someone montaged up Sterling 18 months ago to Sterling now, I don't think the players would be the same. He needs to finish that chance, like I said earlier, but it's unlucky for him. Sturridge and Suarez, both a 7. They took their chance as well, but again, they missed other ones. And you can see on both players' faces, it was just gobsmacked, but I think that was everyone. And Suarez goes off crying, like I said before. They need to come out against Newcastle now and show the fans. And someone even said, it's a bad time for them to be out of form. F off. They've scored 52 goals this season. It should be enough. To be honest with you, it should be enough to get us to where we want to be. 52 goals between a pair is the second best, I think, in Premier League history. From what we expected them, we never expected them to get anywhere near that, really. They've been outstanding. Hopefully next season the two of them push on, but I think one thing that one of the commentators said, it's sort of like a truce they have between each other, that sometimes they don't pass the ball, or sometimes they do. They need to nearly sit down again and get pissed with each other and just go, next season, whoever's in the better position, and they shake hands and they go, that person gets the ball. Or we're going to not be selfish, but yeah, something like that, I don't know. But there needs to be something to happen, because those two, there's moments when they should pass to the other and they decide to go for glory, or there's moments when I think it's just indecision in both of them, because there's moments when they pass the ball when it doesn't need to be passed and they could have just shot themselves. Subs Coutinho 4 already said he was crap, and Moses wasn't much better. So now heading into the final game, like I always said, I'd want to be taking it into the final game of the season. I'd obviously like to. We didn't lose 5 points because we've lost 5 points in our last 2 games, but yeah, we're taking it into the final day of the season now. No matter what happens to City against Villa midweek, it's going into the final day of the season. Anything can happen. You've got Carroll, you've got Cole, you've got Downing, you've got Nolan. You've got exceptional players like that can change a game. You never know that Carroll and Cole and Downing might come out and just be world beaters. You never know. We have to hope. Man City last time when they were at home on the final day of the season basically nearly coughed up the league. It could happen again. Obviously, they even went 1-0 up in that game and they coughed it up. So anything is possible in football. It's a magical game. Liverpool fans believe. I'm now just going to go through quickly. I find the photos here. Some of the comments that you guys had said on some of the Liverpool chat boards that I thought were quite interesting. Someone brought up a comment that Henderson and Agger are out is the reason why we haven't won the league now. And someone said here, Kevin Zim said, it's not their fault, Brendan did nothing, instead adding attacking options when we could defend a lead. Okay. Yeah, we could have defended the league, and I'm surprised that Agger or even Sissoko or someone didn't come on. Even Toure didn't come on when it went to 3-1 or 3-2. And that's one thing I probably should have talked about earlier was I was surprised that when it went to 3-1, Gerrard or Rodgers just didn't say the 3 points is important now, guys. Let's sit back. Let's just grind out the next 15 minutes. Might get a couple of opportunities. But we went forward with the corner and tried to... Nearly everyone was up there. What was the point in that? Like, to be honest with you, I don't get it. And I think the players had in their head so much, like they'd score goals. At 3-0, when it goes to 3-1, you sit back. You hold the lead. I've probably gone well over now, I don't even know how long I've been speaking, but you hold that lead for the life of you. You don't keep attacking, and I know that we need goals, but the 3 points is way more important. That's the EPL for you though. Someone said here, Andy Stapleton says, Lucas Johnson, Sacco aspects are not good enough for Liverpool. Flanagan needs improvement as well. Gets spun every game. Does he get spun every game, Flanagan, though? Don't think he does get spun every game. But I agree, Lucas Johnson, Sacco, Aspas are not good enough. They're good enough for the bench, and they're good enough for squad players. Again, for me, football is always, it's a business for these owners and managers and stuff right now. It is a business. It's about making money in the end. You buy players to win titles, to make money. These players, you don't sell Aspas now at 6.7 million that you bought him for after this season. You don't sell him for 3 million because you've wasted 4 million. It's like a $4 million loan when you've done nothing. That's a waste of money. You keep him now in the squad. You loan him out if need be to hope that he has a good season. Then you can recoup a little bit more money. But there's no point selling him now because you're going to lose half the market value, and there's not much market value on him. Sacco, you can't sell him now. He's still only 23. He doesn't manage he doesn't captain PSG at 18 or 17 if they didn't think that he was a talent. This is obviously before PSG were one of the most rich clubs in the world, or richest clubs in the world. But he is a good centre back. There is a reason why he was linked to most clubs, and obviously there's a reason why some of the bigger clubs didn't get him, and maybe saw his bit of defensive frailties, and obviously PSG might have kept him, but of these reasons, but Rodgers saw something in him, and I see something in Sacco that he will be one of the best centre-backs in the league, I think, in time, but it's his first season, he's played a lot of games in England. Like, obviously some centre-backs, it's a very tough position to come to a new league and play, and that's why a lot of younger kids struggle at the start of their careers to come in, and it takes time. Centre-backs are at their prime at 27, 28, because they've had experience of 10 years of professional football, of battles with experienced strikers. Obviously Crystal Palace aren't really the most experienced of people, but he's still young. It's his first season. I'm more angry with Skirtle because he should know what he's doing. He's been at Liverpool for 6 or 7 years now. He should know not to come out to that then. I'm moving around a lot right now. I'm agitated right now, it's not good. Little sleep. But yeah, so then you go on we've missed Henderson. I think again someone on one of the other Liverpool things put up a picture. I'll put it up on the website too. That was the moment that the title was lost. To be honest with you, I said it last week. That kid is a gem. He's a jet. He is everything that we needed in these last 3 games, because Alan doesn't run like him. Lucas doesn't run like him. He's a headless chicken. He's a dog running after a freaking bone. He's like a cat when you got the little string. He'll just run all day. And we missed that last night, or this morning. So guys, please tell me what you think. It's been tough getting in front of the camera here today, but it's what we got to do. Because we want to get people talking about it now. It's been an exceptional English Premier League season. I'll be back in a second. A separate video talking about the previewing the last weekend. Last night was ridiculous, I have to say. Reds, hold your heads up high. We're still heading into the final day of the season at Anfield. Man City have nearly coughed up a title on the final day already. To be honest with you, I'd rather go out losing by 2 points, than losing on goal difference, because then we have to blame our defence so much more. We'll be back, obviously, I've got a video I'm doing in a second. We'll be back after that video, for you Reds fans that probably don't want to watch everything else, with our EPL end of season review, where we'll be going through and having a look at everything we said at the start of the season. Did anything come true? I think my Sturridge not winning the golden boot, but obviously being second, a lot of people were like, Sturridge is not going to score 10 goals. I think I look good there. But we'll just go and have a look at that. We'll go through the season, even a little preview of the next season, and then obviously with the World Cup videos coming up, I'll be trying to go through most squads. Obviously I don't know a lot of the American teams, South American teams, and some of the European teams, but going through and doing squad builders basically for all of them, picking their squads that we would take to the World Cup, and we're doing World Cup previews. So please keep in touch with the Bounce accounts. Ta-da.